Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's Mental Monday. So, I want to start a series on serial killers. I know that might seem weird. I know that might be a total shift from the kind of stuff I had been doing the last few months on Mental Monday. But I am really getting into behavioral analysis in my classes, where you're measuring behavior, you're monitoring behavior, you're charting behavior, and kind of really looking at behavioral patterns and all of that. So I would love to apply this a little bit to the different serial killers that I know about. And I know quite a bit. I mean, my initial interest I've talked about for not psychology necessarily, but in behavior and behavioral analysis was Criminal Minds, which is serial criminals. So they do a lot of analyzing of the behavioral patterns, and they do a lot of talking about what tells them certain things about a killer or a criminal. And the first case, or the first serial killer I want to talk about, is Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was one that I think they definitely profiled as a psychopath. And I've done videos on this in the past, but a psychopath basically means disconnected from the people around them. So it goes beyond sociopathy, which is like having no remorse, having no emotional connection, but it goes into you have no emotional connection and you therefore see the people around you as objects, as things to be owned, things to be used and manipulated, and you have no empathy and no real ability to see them as more than an object. And so you've never had a real connection with somebody, you've never truly cared about somebody. There's so many ways this affects a person, so many ways you can see it in a person. But Ted Bundy was one. He was super charismatic, super close to the people around him. Everybody thought they knew him. And that's another thing with psychopathy, is you are able to act normal, you're able to put on a good front. Most of the time they are super charismatic, they're super intriguing, they come off as a very caring, very nice person, and nothing majorly red flags for the people around them. The people close to them are very surprised usually when they find out that they did things like he did. If you don't know the case of Ted Bundy, just a quick look on his Wikipedia page shows he confessed to 30 homicides. Very gruesome, very violent homicides. Homicides where he had either pretended to be an authority figure, like a police officer, or he had pretended to have a disability or be injured in some way, bring down his victim's guard, and then overpower them and take them to a secondary location that was more secluded and actually kill them there. So he was very charismatic. He was very easily able to gain their trust and bring their guard down, and then use all of that against them to eventually hurt them. So he was mostly known for female victims. Most of his victims he is connected to were female. There were a couple burglaries. The 30 homicides he confessed to happened between 1974 and 1978, when he would have been mid to late 30s. And those are the ones he's confessed to. It's suspected that there's actually more that he didn't confess to, but this is what he's been connected, or what he was connected to, and what is known that he committed. He was eventually tried for all 30 homicides. I think there was some burglary counts, some other random things that had happened along with those crimes, but that was what he had committed to, and that was what he was mostly tried for and convicted of. And then he was sentenced to the death penalty. The most interesting part of Ted Bundy's case for me is the charisma. A lot of the women that had survived being attacked by him said he was so handsome, he was so charismatic. It totally threw them off and made them not suspect anything at all. It made them feel comfortable with him. It made them put their guard down and feel like he was not going to do anything to them. So there's that aspect of psychopathy that can be very, very, while intriguing, scary. It's the part of it that makes you go, you don't know your neighbor. It's the part of it that makes you go, anybody could do something like this, because you don't know. They put on a really good front. They're really good at acting normal. The many women that he dated had no idea he was doing it, had no idea of the double lives he led and how different of a person he really was from who they knew him to be. And it was just that innate ability to fool people like that that allowed him to get away with it for so long and to get away with so much. He was actually arrested for kidnapping and aggravated assault initially, and then they found out about all of the other homicides and everything else he had done, and an investigation into those had occurred. He was eventually connected to many of the crimes that had been committed across multiple states, and he was tried and convicted of those, and that is what led to him getting the death penalty. So this case has always been super interesting to me, especially just the everybody around him saying, we would have never guessed. He was just not that type of person. And I think that's what makes all of that behavioral stuff, the trying to figure it out, the analyzing it, so interesting, because everybody can be so different. Everybody can be so diverse and unique and not what you expect. So I would love to hear your thoughts on the case of Ted Bundy. Let me know what you think, and if there are any other profiles of serial killers you would like to see, leave that in the comments below. If you have any specific questions about this case, leave those in the comments below as well, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!